afternoon and welcome along to Pass the Post for the final time in 2021, and what a great end to the year we have in store for you. Two meetings to cover here at Jebel Ali and over at HQ, where I think you'll agree once you've seen the replays of those races, we've seen two potentially very smart horses. I'll leave it to Michael Adolphson to give you more details.
Here at Medan is going to be an exciting six-race card where the feature is a 7-furlong race with some carnival implications on there, and some of those horses could face this horse you see walking behind me, Gladiator King, later on in the season. It's an exciting night. Let's see how it works out. The highlight of the evening was indeed the 7-furlong feature, in which Imperial Empire won his second in a row to remain undefeated on dirt for Zabeel and Taigoshe. The winner was the son of Dubawi and now heads into the carnival with a 99 rating.
Now they homeward bound towards the final 400 metres, and Kuzan given more rain. In front, a length and a half, Imperial Empire chases. Then comes Certus, who races away in third. And there outside is Kimber. Kuzan got a knuckle down because Imperial Empire is all over him. And into the final 200 metres, Imperial Empire went clear. Certus is second. Kuzan got nothing to come. Imperial Empire 2 lengths to the good, and Imperial Empire will win again. Certus ran second, Kimber third.
It was the beginning of a big weekend for owner Al Rashid Stables, who would double its own win total to 8 over the next 24 hours.
This is the code for Dubawi. You know, after 4 years, they turned to be something really good, and I mean most likely. So yeah, we were choosing the best races for him. It was a very tough race for him. We knew it, but since that he has holding the minimum weight of the race, so I think the last race that he did also in the same distance, he won easily. His galloping, it was so good at home. Yeah, so why not? We sent him a hard race, and he showed his true color in this race.
Do you think he can be a carnival sort, to step up to that level even more?
Well, that is our wishes, of course. But I mean, today, racing among horses that rated over 100 and winning was easy. I think he's gonna be something in the carnival. Yeah, we're gonna keep him fresh for the carnival. That's for sure.
It was one of 3 wins on the night for Bhupat Simar and O'Shea, but arguably not the most impressive. That would come one race later on the local unveiling of Al Nafud, a former Charlie Appleby runner who won his dirt debut in absolutely dominant fashion.
Al Nafud shows the way by 2. Miami Joy now asks for everything in second. Atlantic Sky is third. Then Alombel starting to ring for Uncle Hamid at the outside. That's been asked a lot of questions. Coco Bay is next, but at the top of the straight, Al Nafud is in front by about 4 to 5 lengths. Atlantic Sky is out in second. Then comes Miami Joy. Uncle Hamid is not firing at all this evening, but it's Al Nafud stretching clear. Hands and heels, and Al Nafud doing absolutely no work in the closing stages. He's about 8 lengths in front. And that is a very smart local debut. He's geared down, he'll walk past the line, he didn't have to run. Al Nafud won that by diminishing 6 lengths, could have been 16.
Another son of Dubawi, the massive gelding, definitely was the most exciting horse of the evening.
Well, he's been training really, really well. And, he's a really well-bred Dubawi. He's a big horse. Reminds me of some of the good ones we've had in the past. And, we've got a great team behind us. I'm just a small part of it. And they do a wonderful job, and we were really, really thinking that he cannot run a bad race, and we thought he was going to win, but didn't think that he's going to win like this.
Obviously it was a small field, going a mile. He didn't have a lot go wrong for him. What did you learn about him this time?
Well, because he is slow out of the gate. That's what we were afraid of. But like I said, there were only 5 runners, so it was easy for Tyke to go around the field, and he's a front runner back in the UK. And he's run further, so he's got the stamina, and he did have the natural speed as well. So it was a great combination to have.
He gave us a little bit of shades of North America there. Does he remind you of any of which particular Dubawis does he remind you of?
Yeah, he definitely reminds me of North America a lot. He had a similar profile, but then the horse who beat him in the UK is rated 112. So if he would have got him beat today, it would have been terrible.
Earlier in the card, 2-year-olds got their final chance on the dirt before turning 3, with Seymour-trained Summers tomorrow returning to form nicely under Taigoshe. Runner-up debutant Rawi is definitely one to watch also moving forward.
Into the final 300 metres they go. Summer is tomorrow, in front by a couple of lengths. Roy races in second. Then comes Libyan Classic, who's empty. Towards the outside is Mr. Cafu, but it's Summer is tomorrow in charge here. 3-length leader in the run down to the wire and extending. Summer is tomorrow will be too good. Second goes to Roy. Fair debut in second. Then came Mr. Cafu.
Speaking of the classic generation, Team Uruguay struck with its first winner of the season when Southern Hemisphere 3-year-old Quality Boone bested his elders with a strong closing run under Wagner Leal.
It's Mayadeen in the lead, got it by half a length, but Island Rule is now right there and draws level, and Island Rule just about takes the lead. Mayadeen tries to battle back, they clear of Renan, and Quality Boone up the outside is doing some good late work. It's Island Rule in front of Mayadeen. Quality Boone continues to catch the eye nearest us as the line comes, and Quality Boone ran away.
Assistant trainer Julio Alascuaga was relieved to get one on the board for trainer Antonio Sintra's formidable Dubai team. Look at that win. How'd you like it?
Perfect. That's an amazing win. The horse did really well since he arrived to Dubai. We're really happy with him. Just arrived 28 ago, adapted really fast, did our work here and impressed us, and Antonio decided to enter him in this race. He was carrying a lot of weight and racing against all the horses, which is not ideal. But I think this is a perfect prep run for the carnival for him.
Yeah. And in the carnival, are you looking at these races where he will have to carry a little bit of weight, say like the Guineas trial?
Exactly, yes, he will have to carry extra weight because he's a Southern Hemisphere bred horse, but he proved today that he can do it, no problems.
Purebred Arabians kicked off the meeting with a 1-2 finish for trainer Mohamed Dagash when Thayer Athan, Fernando Hara held off Reem Benuna and Dane O'Neill.
Sharif taken on by Thayer Atbar towards the far side. Smoke and Thunder tries to keep with them, and Reem Benuna in the red nearest us, but it's Thayer Atbar in the lead and got a length and a half to spare over Reem Benuna, who's trying to chase. They've beaten off the others. Thayer Atbar's crying for the line. Reem Benuna comes, it's close in the end.
The race night ended with some fireworks to usher in the new year when Marast city walked all over his rivals on local debut. The former Mark Johnston runner made all in the 6-furlong contest for Musaba Al-Mahari and jockey Antonio Fresu, earning him an eye-catching 103 rating.
The final 300 metres, and Miraz in front by 3. Dahawi is second. Then comes Mudcull. Leading Spirit is at the outside. Shanahay City and Behavioural Bias are way back, but into the closing stages they go. And Miraz is 4 lengths in front in the run down to the wire. And Miraz will be much too good. Miraz wins that hands and heels.
Racing returns to Meydan on New Year's Day with 7 races and the highly anticipated reopening of the turf course.
Well, it's now official that Friday afternoons at Jebel Ali will be no more from the new year. So the crowd assembled behind me are taking the opportunity to come along for one last time, although I'm sure they'll be back when it moves to a Saturday. Today's card is fairly run-of-the-mill, the highlight being a clash between the likes of Shamik, who is hoping to give Nicholas Bachelard his first winner of the season, and Tenbury Wells looking to bounce back after a disappointing run at Meydan last time. Like I say, the rest of the card is fairly run-of-the-mill, but hopefully 1 or 2 stars may be on show, although quite not to the extent that we saw at Meydan on Thursday. The card kicked off with the juveniles in action, and we saw an impressive performance from Violent Justice, who had clearly learnt plenty from his debut. Just as had been the case on that initial outing, he took a time to warm to his task, but once he hit the hill, there was no stopping him, and he would run out a 10 1/4 length winner.
Now Violent Justice goes for home, 2 lengths in front of Quality Humour, but it's all Violent Justice going further and further clear into the closing stages, and Violent Justice will be home. Quality Humour is 5 lengths down at the line. Violent Justice beats Quality Humour. Third goes to Al-Muhajim, then came Conglomerate.
Doug Watson and Pat Dobbs had live hopes of taking out the first 2 races, as Al Macab was well suited to the conditions of the second contest over 1400 metres. He was already a course winner this season, as indeed was No Limits, but there was a shock in store, as Desert Wisdom became yet another ex-Godolphin horse to win over the weekend. This one showing his first piece of worthwhile form on what was his first start for Ahmed Al Shamaili.
200 metres out, it's Desert Wisdom taken on by No Limits, and Al Muqab up the inside tries to have a say as well. 3 of them in a line into the final 100 as Desert Wisdom really goes to work here and finds again. Desert Wisdom pulls away late. Second will go the way of maybe Al Muqab over No Limits. That's a photo.
The winner, also sporting a visor for the first time, was ridden by Bernardo Pinheiro and is a half-brother to Group 1 winning juvenile Wild Beauty, although had hitherto not revealed any of that one's ability, so the victory was a welcome surprise for Pinheiro.
You know, I know the horse from Sharjah. I know the trainer take out the horse twice in the week, Sharjah for gallop. He shows to be a nice baby, but he is quite horse, you know. We thought he's going forward, you know, long distance, but for first start 7 for long, it will be a good test for him. Just the last gallop, he already sure that he's run this race. The last gallop, he show a lot, you know, and he impressed us, and we waiting for a good race, but I didn't expect for a winner like that, you know. It was a big surprise, and I'm glad for that.
The Doug Watson stable wouldn't have to wait too much longer, the next race in fact, for their second win on the card, and the Red Stable's handler saddled a 1-2 for good measure. In a run-of-the-mill 1200 metre handicap, Fawarik got the better of Dangerous Thought, the pair sticking closest to the far rail, a trend that would be worth following throughout the day.
300 metres out, and up the centre of the track it's Zahau, Rayit nearest us, then comes Ballet Tomain who tries to stay with them, Fawarek and Dangerous Thought up the far side are banging the race as well, and they now the two to fight this out. Fawarek, Dangerous Thought, heads up, heads down, and the run down to the wire. Fawarek, Dangerous Thought, it's Fawarek who beat Dangerous Thought.
We're on to today's feature in a fascinating little contest in which 3 or 4 can realistically be given some sort of chance, including the horse about to come through shot here, horse number 5, Tenbury Wells, one of 2 for Salem Bingadere. This horse ran such a good race on his UAE debut behind Remorse. Less so at Meydan last time, but a bit of a break, and the return to Jebel Ali could see him perform much better today. Unfortunately, soon after leaving the paddock, Tenbury Wells flipped over backwards and dumped Royston French on the dirt. The pair would make it to the start and were deemed fit to race, but Tenbury Wells struggled badly once things got serious and was eventually pulled up. His stablemate, Down on DeBeo, fared a good deal better, however, making much of the running and readily pulling clear for a 4.5 length win.
300 metres out, Down on DeBayou, in front by 2. Second place is Shamik, then comes Lost Eden, over towards the far side, still got 3 lengths to make up. Karaginski was next, but it's Down on DeBayou, still in front, in charge by about 3 lengths and going even further clear. Down on DeBayou, from start to finish, leads the way and wins. Down on DeBayou won that by a good 4 lengths. Second goes to Lost Eden, Shamik ran third.
This was Down on DeBeo's first win since the UAE Oaks in 2020. Her mark having taken a while to fall in that time, and her jockey, Xavier Ziani, believes she has found her level once again.
She always had this quality, but she had hard time. I mean, after the Guinness, she went to Saudi and traveling, and first time out of the country. So it took her a bit time to bring her back in the game. This year she has no mistake. I mean, first time in Medan she probably need the race, but last time just a bit too long, over 1800 here with 60 kilo on her back. Today she had big advantage, 55.5, 1 furlong less. I knew, to be honest, on Monday at the entries when I knew I was going to ride her, I said to everyone I'm going to win with her.
Rarely a meeting passes without a win for Al Rashid Stables, and they were on the board in the 5th race, a maiden over 1600 metres. Rakiz was the horse in question, and won readily as well, this one breaking from stall 3 and never too far away from that favoured rail.
Lana Sunshine still in front by 4. Rakiz trying to reel in this leader and is certainly doing so. Then comes Sheringham in third. Sharp Spun was next. Here's Rakiz drawing level with a weary Lana of Sunshine who's run his race, and Rakiz powering clear. Rakiz wins. Second will go the way of Sharp Spun.
The best finish of the day was saved until the last, an 1800 metre handicap. It has felt like a while since we have seen the orange colours of the Borsley Racing Syndicate in the winners' enclosure. That's because it's been a while since they had any runners. But Kepler Crusader righted that wrong and gave Bernardo Pinheiro a double in the process from just 2 rides on the card.
They now reach the final 300 metres and start to climb the hill. Prevent is in front. Kepler Crusader tries to set out after this leader. Law of Peace, Untold Secret towards the far side, but it's Prevent in the lead with a 2-length lead. Kepler Crusader still trying to get on terms. Running out of racetrack though. Kepler Crusader draws level into the lead, and it's Kepler Crusader.
So the winners were drawn in 5, 2, 4, 1, 3 and 2. The Golden Highway on the rail looking firmly back in action. Jebel Ali will next be in action on Saturday. Yes, that's right, Saturday, the 15th of January. On to the Jockeys Championship, and although Tag O'Shea wasn't in action at Jebel Ali on Friday, he was still able to extend his lead at the top, courtesy of a treble at Meydan. That took him onto the 23 win mark for the season, and 4 clear of Antonio Fresu, who sits on 19. A double for Bernardo Pinheiro at Jebel Ali takes him back into the top 5 and onto 11 winners for the campaign. The big mover in the Trainers' Championship was Bhupat Seema, with 4 winners over the weekend taking him on to 14, and now just 5 behind Doug Watson, whose double at Jebel Ali took him 2 clear on 19. Limited options for the Arabians meant Abdallah Al-Hamadi and Ernst Ortel largely had to sit and watch this weekend, remaining on 17 and 13 respectively. And with just the one Arabian race this week going the way of Athbar Racing, it meant no change at the top of the Owners' Championship. Al Ajban Stables still lead the way from Khalid Khalifa Al Nabuda, with Shadwell and Al Rashid Stables both making a move in the top 5. The riding performance of the week goes to Bernardo Pinheiro for his effort aboard Kafla Crusader in the final race of 2021. Stall 2 was no doubt a good draw, but Pinheiro ensured his mount stayed closest to the rail pretty much throughout, before switching to make his challenge. Prevent had stolen a bit of a march by that point, but Kafla Crusader gradually wore him down to win on the line, giving Pinheiro a double in the process from his only 2 rides on the card. One of the easiest one-to-watches ever awarded on this programme, with Al Nafud gaining the vote this week. No horse has produced as impressive a performance first up in the UAE since North America, and this horse simply looks destined for the top. His form in the UK could not have worked out any better, and this sizable son of Dubawi simply devoured the dirt at the first time of asking. It may have been a weak enough race he blew apart, but everything about the performance was effortless, and we look forward to seeing him in a carnival handicap off his new mark of 96 in the near future. There is just the one meeting this week, Meydan taking place on Saturday, January the 1st with a 6:35 start. There are 7 races on the card, with the listed Garhoud Sprint and UAE 1000 Guineas trial taking centre stage. Plus, the turf track will be in use for the first time this season. That's it for Past the Post this week, and indeed Past the Post for 2021. To compensate for the new weekends here in the UAE and the fact all race meetings effectively move back a day, Past the Post will also move to a Tuesday. So we will see you next Tuesday at 6 p.m.